Yeah, everybody can hear you on the Zoom.
Can everybody hear me now?
I can hear you. I believe everybody else can too, but we'll find out.
Okay, I see. So, who has control over the game, over the board?
I think Mr. MTal, yeah, did the review, so Mr. MTal
Okay,
has the way to control it.
okay, wonderful. So, I think the game was going pretty well until the first Joseki. So the first Joseki was played in a bit strange manner. So after White attached, I'm not sure if
Yeah, we
Mr. MTAL will show the
we
screen, but
yeah we can't see it. So if you join the review, I'm sure Mr. MTal can give you control, and then we'll all be able to see it.
um, wait a sec. Can one of you send me? Ah, wait. I see it now.
Hmm.
I'm
There we go.
okay. Yeah. Okay. So Mr. MTAL has the control now, I
Yeah,
think.
so as soon as Mr. MTal clicks your name, they can give you control.
Yeah. He is in the Zoom chat. No, he's not. Okay. So we need to ask him to.
Okay, no, you got it now. You have the control.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. So the game was pretty normal until this point.
Hmm.
So the normal Joseki would be just to extend, and white pushes and black extends. And here white has basically two options. He can either already extend on the side, or he can push once more. If black extends, white definitely goes on the side. So it's kind of simple variation that a lot of people probably played or seen already. There is also a fighting variation with this move though, where white extends and then cuts, which leads to quite complicated stuff. I don't know it by heart, to be honest, because I played it like only a few times in my life. But black needs to fix the shape afterwards, and the fighting will begin. Yeah, and so that's how it's usually played. In the game, this move, I don't think it's a mistake. The move that Black played, this double Hane, it just probably a bit worse than usual variation. But if White cuts and extends, it's also fine. It's fine for both. It's not a big deviation from, let's say, AI sequence or something like that.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think white does better here, right? And so that's why black should play N15 or one.
I mean, the black shape, if black played N15, his shape would be definitely better, of course.
Hmm.
But it also depends how black is going to continue this position, because if like the perfect one would be to play here probably and here, I assume. And then as white, I would like turn here once again.
Hmm.
And I think the shape is a bit better because overall, if we compare it to this variation, just a sec, to this cutting variation to this normal variation, it seems that black got less because his wall is facing the side
Hmm.
and only the side, not as and it's not as much let's say directed into the center, but the shape is much better. And in this position, let's say here. White can also continue this with shape moves like this, or if he gets an option, he can also play this move, which threatens to kind of save the stone. So black needs to answer, and you also don't need to forget that there are some shape problems for black here. So usually this shape is just worse. That's why I think the variation in the game was it was a bit worse than usual Joseki, so this double hundred. But White, of course, like you mentioned that on stream, and that was right that White made a mistake by playing here, because now this cut is quite painful, and now Black managed to finish the shape, which is of course like we can think of it. Let me say, let me think about it in a different way. So if we make a move reversal here, let's say black extended, right? And then white played here for some weird reason, I don't know. Black turned and black cut. So cut is probably a bit too much, but it's not a big loss in comparison to two, because move number two is a bit strange. So
Yeah.
so usually you don't want to play like that. Yeah, and so this variation was definitely better for black. And this move, I think it's possible to play like this. Don't get me wrong, but I would consider it a bit too aggressive, I would say. As white, I would just defend and wait for an opportunity, because like if black plays elsewhere, later on white can cut this shape and maybe cut even like this. Not because white still has some local core threats. So this one and apply pressure, maybe even destroy, maybe even build some kind of wall. And you see this core here isn't worth nothing. Even if black wins the core, he just connects his groups. He doesn't get anything, any points, any influence whatsoever, and white can utilize this weakness pretty efficiently. So that's why I say that this move in the game was a bit too aggressive, I would say.
Okay.
So that's why I say that I think white played a bit. Black should have probably just extend. Just extend is good enough. So as
Okay.
you see, white shape is not that efficient. This Ponuki is. I mean, of course it's a Ponuki, but how, like there are too many stones around it to make it really work. Black's got this very important stone at M12, and yeah. So overall, this position is better for black.
So just two things. MrMTal on the stream, he's asking, is his double Hane a mistake? In my opinion, we talked about it, but yeah, not playing N15 was the mistake, I think.
Yeah.
And then
So
other than that, I just wanted to say thank you for the follow, newbie. But go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, not a problem, not a problem. So Black's double Hane. Let me go back to it. Black's double Hane was probably slight mistake, just kind of variation that you can play occasionally. Black's double Hane, White's double Hane was definitely a mistake. I think definitely
Mhm.
there is no, yeah. And here White decides to cut. It's a reasonable option. White just needs to but this cut is a bit bad, because you see White's shape is not finished yet, and he has some weaknesses around here. But like if you cut, you need to clearly understand what is a cut aiming for, right? So there is no you shouldn't cut just because you can, right? You need if you cut, you need to understand very clearly what's the goal, what result I do you want to get. Like a lot of times you cut to separate a weak group and then start attacking it, for instance, or to even to kill something. Sometimes you cut to settle a group yourself. For sometimes when you cut and just play some moves in the center, start some fighting sequence, you probably are not killing something, but you are settling a group in the center and getting some kind of influence over it. And here we see a cut that is not cutting anything. Like it cuts off those two stones, right? So those two stones are kind of weak now, but black has the move. So if he can settle the stones very easily, then the whole, like for instance like this, then the whole point of cutting is actually gone, because now black is strong and you don't have a good way of attacking it. Later on, black will squeeze the shape over here and turn it into like 5 points or something. So it's not white doesn't get a big territory, and his two stones are also not doing any functions, any important functions at least. Of course, white can attach here to improve his shape, but that's not much. Maybe he can still play in the center, but it's just two stones. Unfortunately, white doesn't have a good continuation, unlike black. So we go back to here. Um, white has 2 stones and black has 2 stones, and for some people it may seem like even, because like both are separated from alive groups, both are in the center, so they should be even, but they are not, because black has a move and black has a continuation. He can apply pressure towards the white group, which is on the right, which is not alive yet, and white simply doesn't have this option. White is only facing strong black's shape, flawless shape. There is no cut or anything there. He cannot squeeze it. He cannot do anything to it. So white is in a bit of a trouble here, to be honest. So I'm not really a fan of this cut. You decided to give up the stone. This is also a possible. This is also a viable option. I don't think it was a mistake. It just, the cut could punish white in a more severe way. You decided not to do it. It's still completely fine. So you can, of course, go for an exchange. And here, this crosscut is like very aggressive. It's everything I can tell about this cut. Usually, you as white, you are trying to settle your shape first. Let's even say like this, and then cut when the time comes. In this case, like at this point in time, white cut like this, and it's a bit too early, and you played completely right when you just pushed to the right, and yeah, you push to the right and settled the shape. In the game, I think you chose not the best shape out of the possible ones. Your idea was correct, but I would play probably here, or maybe just here, just simple connection,
Okay.
simple, honest, no weaknesses whatsoever. That would be fine.
I
So
see.
that would be, you punish basically this crosscut. Anyway, even in the game it was still okay. But you mentioned that the ladder was working. Ladder is not working, unfortunately. And in like in theory, black, sorry, yeah, black could have tried to utilize this if he played here, let's say, and asked you what are you going to do, because like you can, like what's your plan, because like this and playing something like this is already bad for black, because he gets a lot of cutting points at, I'm not sure how to mark it here, so it, no, wrong. He has weakness at A, he has weakness at B, there is a turn at C for white, so white gets a lot of options to torment black's shape. So here it could actually be quite dangerous. So as black, I would just stabilize, if, sorry, if white cuts, just make good shape, give 2 stones up. They are not completely dead yet. They are still fine, and abandon the position. Yeah, but that's not actually. I'm talking about this cut, which could be a good move for white, but it doesn't really change the position much. It's still good for the situation overall is still favorable for black, definitely. And here, this move, so if we look at this Joseki from the very beginning, the way it started, so you mentioned that this move at R17 is a weakness, but like, why is it a weakness? Because when white played R17 at the very beginning, let me, wait a sec, let me come back. Here, right? So white is basically asking black, what is he going to do? He can capture this stone by playing at R17, or by playing at R18, or by playing at S17. Both ways are possible. If black captures the move at R17, then white can have this center. That's why black tries to play S17 to prevent white from playing descent S15 in center. Now it's not center anymore. And if we go back to the game, You played S17, and then suddenly you decided after like 20 moves, okay, I'm going to allow S15 anyway now, although there is no real reason to do that because your shape, as I mentioned previously, is actually quite solid. So playing S18 is completely fine. So white, of course, can play this exchange, but nothing more. There is nothing more to be played here as for white because your shape is good.
So S15 isn't Sente here?
No, because if you count the liberties, white has 3 liberties and black has 4.
Hmm.
So black can ignore it,
I
and
see.
white cannot kill it.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I misread this.
Here everything is fine. So you mentioned this move in the game. In this Joseki, if we look just at the lower left corner, there are 2 basic variations. There is this one, the one that you played in the game, and there is this one. Those are the 2 variations here, 2 standard variations here. This move, I don't think it's bad. It's just very unusual, but I think it's also playable here. I don't think it was a bad decision to. If you played it, it would have been also fine. Not a big deal. Here, 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 here. Okay, so white is definitely definitely trying to surround big zone on the right, and here as black you have 2 options. You either consider the lower side very so valuable that you need to play here. Oh, sorry, wrong move. You think, okay, lower side is far too big. I need to play here anyway. Or what I would suggest, just Tanuki it. So for instance, as black, I would really like to play this Shimari over there because this zone of black on the upper left is becoming like huge, and Shimari on the upper left will basically make it solid, make it make at least half of it to solid points, and that's a lot. That's maybe like, I don't know, 50 points, something like that. So the move in the upper left is very important here. In the game, you try to punish white. It's actually you mentioned that white kind of made some kind that you felt that white made some kind of mistake. Actually, he didn't. He played it correctly. So if white plays here, and the best one you can do is usually play something like this. There was an old fighting variation in this position which was played like this, and it leads to some complicated fighting sequences. I'm not going to explain them because I don't know them myself, but it's some complicated fighting. The only issue here for white is for black is that white has so many stones on the right side that this fight becomes impossible for black, basically impossible. So of course this fighting is not an option for black. So that's why I suggest Tanuki. And white has now 2 basically miais. He can either play A or B, and if white plays A, then black plays B, and if white plays B, then black will play probably not A but C. So you see that the 3 stones on the lower right are alive anyway. So if they are alive, why should you add a move? If you have a really big point at D, or if you wish at E, so basically any move on the upper left. Any move on the upper left is super valuable.
That makes sense. Yeah, what I question in the game is like instead of playing O6, I always see the Joseki they play like S2, right? Or they come back at S5. So when you didn't play anything there, I thought there must have been some weakness. But I guess it's an old fighting strategy you said, right? That was what's left there.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but this move, O6 is locally kind of a mistake I mean, in this position is justified because white is trying to surround big zone on the right. But usually in normal Joseikis, this move is not played because of move at B. Because move at B here is like really huge. You take the whole corner. You can also later on you can continue with move at 3 because you see white cannot connect or otherwise he will die. So you have really nice continuation. That's why the
I
move at
see.
1 is just far too big. That's why white prefers to avoid it, either by, as you mentioned, by playing this tiger mouth, this good shape, or playing a bit more aggressively. Yeah, but leaving a weakness, which is in this case protected, but still it's still there. Yeah.
All right, I understand now. I was really because when he didn't play it, right, the normal stuff, I was like, "There's got to
Mm.
be something here." But I see
And
now. It's just S2 is like really good in general.
in the game, white played not the best move probably. Locally, this move is a bit, I think, is worse than S5. Um, pom, pom, pom. Okay, here and here. So in the game, it was pretty easy for black. I would say it would put it like that, but I'm not sure if this move is the best. Why is it so? Because I would take the stone instead. So of course, white can Atari, and black will take the stone. So now black already took the corner. So it's even better than playing at S2, just as I showed before, because now have already secured the corner, and if white ignores it later on, black has big endgame here, which makes like which decreases white's territory by a lot. Maybe not now, but in the future. And if white takes, then it's just a center exchange. You took the corner in center. Well, that's definitely good. You can spend the move somewhere else.
Can I
What's the
ask?
problem with?
Can I
Yeah.
ask how that endgame works at R6? I would think that
Okay.
white could stretch out enough, right, and then put black in trouble.
hmm That's true. So usually the end game would work like this,
Oh, I
where
see.
white gives up the stone, and that's what normal, let's say, calm sequence looks like. If white tries to save the stone and let's say stretch a bit more, he can technically do it. The only problem is that his shape on the outside becomes very thin, and white can connect, black can connect, or maybe not connect, but at least start fighting, which is which has an unclear result
Gotcha.
here. So I'm not sure that you should play this immediately, but at least you could even check the reaction. Like even if this move like doesn't, you first check and then see, okay, how is you just extend, like right now you just extend and watch what white's playing. If he plays here, you can play elsewhere, and later on you can capture the stone, and if white goes back and captures those two stones, you don't lose any points on it, because it's this sequence is the same one as if white protected the stone immediately. The amount of points they get is exactly the same, so you don't care. But if later on white just extends, then you know, okay, then I might have some moves like this. Even if you don't want to save those three stones, you still get some surrounding moves that will, you know, put some pressure on white or just surround some zone on the lower side. You just ask what white is going to do. That's how that's how you can play around this weakness.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When I was looking at it, I thought if we stretched out, black would just die in white's territory, but I can see now the weakness on the that lets him out.
Exactly. And even if this weakness wasn't there, you still got a corner and you still got a move. And then this movement right now is still very important. Like if white takes, just upper left is extremely important. Anyway, in the game, what white could play here was to extend. What was your plan as black if white extends?
R8. I was yeah, I was planning to
R8.
yeah try and live in his big area. Oh, sorry. Yeah, R8, one up. Let's
Oh,
say.
sorry, yeah. Um, that's hard. First of all, black is not alive yet, so we don't know if black will live. Second of all, it's quite hard to live because, as I mentioned before, white has so many stones around black's group that I don't know. For instance, I cannot see a clear way how to live. I suppose that black can live, but I don't see the clear way to do it. And the third problem is, let's say black lives somehow, white gets a move for upper left, and let's say if he finished there in center, he can also go at k3, or he can bump first, kick first, sorry, and then insert at k3, and start building up his lower side.
I see.
So like I understand that you want to destroy the right, but you can think about this it another way. So right is big, undoubtedly. So 35 points, as I counted, you counted 37 in the game, but the amount is about the same, 37 points. But let's think about it like this. You've got around 10 points in the lower right, and you've got around 10 points in the upper right, and you've got a really huge wall for the upper side. So the question is, can you make up for 15 points with this huge wall? How do you think about it? Do you think you can make up for those 15 points difference?
Yeah, I mean that enclosure is big.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't, although the territory looks big, you don't really need to care about it, because even if it's big, you can get bigger.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. You're just right. Um, I think the running battle that started all this, I knew Black got the better out of it, but I didn't get to utilize it the way I should have.
So another way for white would be to play for black would be to play here and start a really complicated sequence with this one. It's a bit hard, but it like there is a certain agi with white move at s2, which is not that important, like right in the general, like in general, but it could have brought a lot of problems to black here, to be honest. Anyway, I think let's go to the game, because so white basically protected his side and got to the upper left, which I think is a huge gain for white. And attach is a bit strange, to be honest, because as white, I want to settle the group on the upper side as quickly as possible, right? So I want to play here, for instance. If black is trying to attack me, I just play Keima and just make group alive. If black is trying to attack me from the side to destroy my base, then I go out. Playing attach is you're basically reinforcing black's shape in the corner, and you create another group which is not connected to the stone on the upper side. And of course, my first question will be like, why do you want to do that? There is no apparent need for that. Like, even though, like, later on, if you need, you can also attach here. And this is, sorry, this should not be there. And this attach is usually a much more powerful move than the attach at d16, because you have a stone at age 17, which helps you to make this invasion successful. So white usually, like, as white, I usually try not to disrupt you try not to reinforce opponent's shape near your weak stones. And this attach is doing exactly that. After this attach in the game, black is getting much stronger. The shape overall is getting much stronger. So that's a bit strange direction of play. So black played here, and as white played this jump, so it's fine. The jump is fine. What I would play as black here is not this move, but this move, because sorry, the other Atari, because you are trying like it determines your direction of play. I think it's understandable that you want to play towards the left side, not towards the upper side, because upper side is like white shape on those two stones are relatively strong against those black stones, and you're reinforcing it even more. And now white will play settle a base, for instance, or the way he played in the game, it's also possible. And now the stone is not the placement of the stone is not the best. I think you should. I think that this stone is a bit better because this stone is a bit better because it's directed towards the right side.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
And in the game, you also captured this stone, which is of course. So this move is fine. The one that you played because you protected your weakness, but later you even captured this stone, which was also a mistake. But if the stone was let me ask you this way: if the stone was here, let's say we played the same version, would you still capture it?
Mm. um, I was worried about Aji in the corner with all the cutting, but I'm not sure. I mean, probably not. Uh, I know
Probably
that.
not, or at least you would capture it like this,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe.
yeah. We would make it more pressure on the other group.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So that's why the shape is better.
Mm.
Um, so um, I have an issue. I still have a small issue with this. Oh, wait a sec. Yeah, this move, because this move protects the cutting point, which is of course important and good, and it also makes the black shape really strong on the right side in the upper right corner. And now white ignores this move once, and he ignores it twice, and you are playing somewhere else, but you are not trying to use this strength. You are not trying to use this strength as it should be used, because you cut off the group and it survives. This sequence would work if the group died, but it doesn't. So you need to make use of you spent a move,
Mm-hmm.
and now you need, and why didn't answer? So now you need to use this move. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to play there in the first place. For instance, you can play as black, you can play this invasion,
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
because you reinforced yourself, and now you are strong enough to invade. And
Mm-hmm.
if, I mean, of course white can connect, but then, well, additional 20 points, I don't think you would refuse that. And there is still a cut, by the way. There is still a cut here, because white cannot capture the stone at 5. So the problems are not over yet. And if white is trying to cut, then you cut as well. And white is having sorry, not shape, liberty problems. That's why actually I was always trying to play here, because even if black plays this one, white doesn't have an invasion in his shape, and now he can relatively safely play here. But with this, especially with long shape, with this such broad extension, um, like in the game, you want to use the stone because you want to use it on purpose. Otherwise it will be the same way it was in the game, when you cut off the group but it survived suddenly. And now let's look at it. You spent one moves, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't count the move at d17 because it was because you captured the stone. So you spend those 2 moves, those 6 moves, sorry, to protect the shape at L13. Makes sense. To get a corner worth of 20 points, maybe 15, from 15 to 20 points, around that. And what did White get? White managed to survive with a group on the upper side and destroy the whole potential of Black. And White managed to achieve to get additional wall on the left and surround around, let's say, 10 points on the left. So now we're talking about efficiency of stones.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of stones is approximately the same. Okay, actually, what Black has 1 stone less, but Black has a move as well. And White started here. White started with h17, so Black still has a move, but unfortunately, it doesn't redeem the overall situation because Black is just not using his stones effectively in this case. Else, again, the stone at L13 is fine, but all the other 5 could have been used better. And if we go back to the cutting shape, which I mentioned previously, let's say, wait a sec, yeah, this cutting shape, let's say, which I mentioned previously, here we have much better outcome because we've got 20 points more. White's shape is still not over yet, so he needs to add a move, and that's better overall. That's 20 points difference, basically.
Mm. Yeah, I didn't realize White could live so easily with K17. So that made my decision say I'll attack the whole group instead of invading in, and that was my mistake.
Yeah, so MrMTal is actually right. He's also supporting my point that there is no point in cutting the groups if all of them will eventually live.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I think AI knows if you could try to kill the group on the upper right. I did not find a way to do it properly, but I assume there might be something. I honestly don't know if you could try to attack it, but maybe there is some killing sequence. But again, you need to go for it and you need to read it very well to be sure that you can kill the group. Otherwise, again, as MrMTal said, this whole variation doesn't make sense because you try to attack the group, you surround it, and it leaves anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Here, this move is bad for White. So even let's say White played here and Black protect his shape as in the game, right? So this is sequence from the game. Now White has an opportunity to cut. So before that, Black got the ladder, and now when White exchanged 1 for 2, now they can cut and see how Black answers. Because if Black answers like this, well, okay, take 2 stones. Those are big, around 10 points. It also actually eliminates the weakness which was here. So this, if we, let's say, exchange this one and take the stones, now this weakness is not there anymore because we protected it. Before, Black got help from those two stones. Now he doesn't have it. Now he cannot do anything because 1, 2, 3, 4, and yeah, that's it. The best Black can do.
Mm-hmm. MrMTal is saying he wanted to make G4 Sente, so he wanted the
So I
ladder
want
breaker. But when he peeps,
G.
it just fixes it. So
Yeah, exactly. G4 Sente. G4 Sente. Wait a sec. I'm thinking about the move G4. G4 is also actually possible. Why not? Of course, it's a bit worse than the sequence in the game, because the sequence in the game is kind of natural. You build kind of normal shape and you then cut it. Also possible. Mm, yeah, but if you are not sure that, for instance, if you are afraid that black doesn't answer at 2 and that he will, I don't know, go back and protect his shape, that's also not a big deal. You can then go for g2. I mean, black will answer here anyways. So now, wait, is it yeah, now it's a ladder breaker. So if if you if you want to break the ladder, you can also play like this. Not a big deal. Which there is a ladder for which L8 is a ladder breaker when I go G3, G3, I8. Wait a sec, I'm a bit confused. L8 is a ladder. Aha, there is, okay, I see. So MrTal was reading some variations where this exchange was a ladder breaker for this, but this attachment looks very suspicious, to be honest. This attachment doesn't look very good. Like, even if you survive, even if you live, it looks highly questionable. If you can even play like this. So. Anyway, this was fine. Okay. And here, okay, so the fight here was quite amusing, because after f4, sorry, once again, after f4 in the game, g3, yeah, okay, I think, I'm sorry, I will go back because MrTal was writing another comment.
Yeah, no problem.
Like after g3, and then there's later, but black will always answer g3. They will push here and push and play here, probably. Oh wait, he has a ladder. He needs to protect the ladder. Yeah, okay, maybe like this it would be possible. Yeah, g3 is also an option here, by the way. You can also play with this move as well. Even if without the ladder, it creates some opportunities for white. Anyway, in the game, I did decide to surround the shape like that. And here, so as you if there are two ways of thinking about it. So we need to understand, does white know that this move does black know that this move works? And does white know that this move works for black? I mean, because in the game, white was trying to cut, and this led to a bad result. I will not go on. I will not elaborate on this cut, but this result will be bad in the end for black. So if white knows that this result is bad for him, then he needs to probably play something like this, right? So if black extends, then white can play here and here, and just keep some of the points he managed to get, just like this. Of course, black can try to resist it. He can try to play 2, then white can play just here, just attach, and that would be also fine. So what black is basically breaking white's shape. So if white sees that the shape can be broken, then he doesn't need to cling to the points, because he's losing those points. So he basically needs to make sure that he can keep as many points as he can, especially because he has those 4 stones, those stick, which is very solid, and he has a lot of liberties. So yeah, I think this move would be the best here as for white. In the game, it was worse, and I'll explain why. So the cut is right, but what the biggest mistake of black here was this connection, of course, because black had to go all in, of course. Just maybe even like this, right? So white got a big zone on the left, but his zone on the right is destroyed.
So if I fought the Ko, it would have been a bad result for white. If I won it, of course, right? Or came
Yeah,
out.
bad or even.
You're right.
But
I see.
even result means better for probably for black because black is leading in yeah, black is leading in medium. So even result is also fine. Why not? And this score is very risky because like white cannot connect. It will be just disaster. Like will just destroy the left and get a lot of points in the center.
Mm.
And there is another question: how good is this group right now?
Hmm.
It is alive, of course, but what about the Cothras?
Hmm.
Is it alive enough to survive two moves from black here? I mean, I'm not sure. Again, in order to assess such things, you need to read it and to read it thoroughly. But as an option for black, it would be quite like it looks quite dangerous for white. If black considered it as a real option.
Mm. Yeah, I definitely misvalued this Ko. Because white just fixes in one move, right? So then the Ko doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
And there is also another trick that I think a lot of players do not really know about. So if we see a big com, we usually just start to playing it right away, right? To take and to like we initiate it if we see that okay, it's there. But there is a trick when you do not try to start a call directly. So what do I mean by that? Let's say I play here. I skip the move on the left and the play attach. And now I ask White, what is he going to do? And he says, okay, I'll Atari and I'll cut, right? So now I start a call, and now my call threads are much bigger because he made those additional exchanges.
Mm.
If White, let's say, ignores my move at one and says, okay, I'll take immediately. I don't want to. I want to avoid this call. We can take, and white takes the call. But now, as you see, the move at f9 is gone. So black is not losing that much in this call to start it immediately. So he can make a little trick. He says, I will not start it immediately. I'll wait. I'll create additional call threads, and then I'll start them. And white is under like permanent stress because he's always thinking, oh my God, when black is going to start the call? Because this call is scary for white. And for black, it's not. Because black can, as again, black has a perfect spot for it because this clamp. And as you see, for instance, black can even go, it can go even farther. Sorry, not like this. You can play this clamp. And if white says, okay, here, black can even cut and make the next score thread even bigger than before, like Qatari, for instance. And the core, like this core is becoming very dangerous for white. Like not cause needs to be started immediately. Some cause are better like to be started a bit later.
Yeah, so you can make it bigger, right? Which then, yeah, that's cool. I like that.
So that's why I say that this result overall for white was worst. Like the result of white was worst. Wait a sec here. So this result is quite bad because black has a lot of options. He can start the core directly. He can wait with the core, but and this core is not that valuable that black needs to play it immediately. So yeah, it's quite a tight spot for white. But of course, this move ruined it all, unfortunately. And here, white can play here, or if he wants to be really sure about his shape, he can play also Atari first and then connect. So just to add this, to add this exchange 1 for 2. And this exchange is, of course, better for white because he basically protects his shape on the right in this area, but his shape in this area is already strong enough to contain black. So this is also an option for white for white. I'm sorry, Mr. Tal, we saw your question about the result of the game of bet for white or bet for black. What do you mean result of the game was bet for white or bet for black?
He was talking about the ko. When you were showing us the variation, if we go back to F11.
Wait a sec, F11. F11, Here,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was wondering if this result was bad. So because if you go all the way back to when I originally played F11, you were showing us a different variation at F10, and he was
Mm-hmm.
wondering if the in-game variation was bad. I mean, I would have mentioned it, but I knew you were going to answer it if you just kept going, which you did. It was bad, but I messed it up by connecting at H10. I think it was.
Yeah, that's right. So now white is already better, I think. I did not check the graph, but according to the feeling, white is already better right now. And here, white could have played even more solid. He could play here, and black cannot really cut here because he has liberty shortage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read this too.
Yeah, so this shape was better than the shape in the game. Um, and what I want to explain here is a thing I call recovery. So a lot of times you play something and then you realize, oh, it doesn't work. Like it just doesn't work for any reason, bad shape, miscalculated liberties, anything. And in this situations, you need to understand. You need to how to put it better. You need to understand when to stop, because if you continue playing like bad moves, you can lose even more than you originally could. For instance, here black is playing here, and he's continuing this variation in the corner, which is actually not that great for black because he dies anyway. And white got this valuable move at c2, which makes extends his corner, makes his corner bigger. And as I mentioned, black is dead anyway. So what's the point? As black here, for instance, you could play just Atari, maybe take, and now just attach and see how white answers. That would be a bit better, probably. Because white, I don't see really a good way to answer this for white. The best way here would probably be just playing this shape. I know it's a bit strange, but okay. And now white needs to add another move, let's say here, in the party. And now black got the corner. Like, of course, black lost a lot of points in the center, but he got the corner in center. So corner is now his, and he can play elsewhere. So overall, I would even say that overall result is not that bad for black because he got the corner in center. He has the move. In the game, it was of course much worse because black was messed up and then started saving his stones that were like dead already, and it ended up being bad for him naturally because white is alive and with points.
Yeah, that other variation looks much better.
For instance, even like here, I am not sure, like I say this shape, but this shape is not actually that easy to find because I also spent some time for it, because this shape like this is like cuttable. I mean, not cuttable, but I can capture the cutting stone. In shape like this, it's also doesn't look that promising, and there is this move. I mean, the difference is not that big. Not to mention that there are some possible variations with such jumps, and here, yeah. So it actually puts white in some trouble. and I didn't count the points, but I think it's still, the game is still playable for black, if not good, if not good.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. But I didn't see how good S8 was. It was in my mind, but I think the computer is saying how good S8 is. There's still a game here. But when I counted originally, when White One lived on the top, I had us both at 60 points, and so when I failed so hard on the left side, I thought it was over.
Yeah, I kind of get it, but if we count the points again in this position, we can see that white has around 35 points on the left. Even let's say that black even did that, you didn't see the clamp and you played just like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just normal. Wait a sec. Throw in and then extend. This one. Okay, so white has around 35 points, and this one is also your center.
Hmm.
Right? So white has around 35 points on the right, around, let's say, 5 points on the upper side because it's still undefined, and around, let me count, 24, 28, 30, 35, 35 or 36, 35, I would say. So 35 plus 35 and plus 5 is 75 points for white, and there is no comma, right? So yeah, that's accurate calculation. So now we have around, let me see, 38, 41, 42, 40, 43, 44, 45, around 45 points for black on the lower side. Around, that's 14, then 16, 18, altogether around, let's say, 17 points on the upper left, so it's 62. Then around 15 points in the upper right, which, because black, you also need to understand that black will get all of those endgame, so it will be around 62 plus 15, 77, and black has a bunch of around 10 points in the center, which gives us 67, 77 plus 10 is 87 points. So I would say that black is winning with, like, with 10 points. 10 points win, 10 points lead for black, and in just normal endgame.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's if I found the D7 move, but
Mhm.
yeah. So then I see.
That's why actually the AA shows an even position, even after you lost the stones in the center.
Gotcha.
It was, yeah. Anyway, going back to the game, so here, yeah, of course, so here, of course, the biggest mistake was this move, of course, like, without a doubt. Just here, just connect, and then this variation just works for black. I'm not sure how to play it correctly though, because there are a few options. So first of all, white shouldn't play this one because this move is just killing white. So white has to take the stone immediately. Black can play here, here, Atari. Then black can probably attach. Yeah, it's not clear how white kills, because white has also some problems with shape. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. So it would look like this, and yeah, looks decent for black. So what did I do here? I attached and made bamboo joint, and usually white can squeeze black with this bamboo joint like this, but because white has liberty shortage, he cannot play it, and he needs to take the liberty here first, and black cannot save those 3 stones anymore, so he needs to play, wait, okay, so sorry guys, I didn't see that I didn't see that this white can connect here. Okay, that's unfortunate. So then black needs to play like this. Okay, like this. So despite white killing black like 5 stones, it's still good for black because they got move at 9 at d6, and they got an additional 4 stones in the center. So it's still good, a good variation. Still good end game here. In the game, you started playing this call, but white made additional mistake. He played here, and then you started playing this call. Boom, boom, boom. Here, okay. This cut. Okay, this move was a bit strange. I think it was a bit aggressive, but I would just cut just normally. Of course, there is another pathway here, but well, there's nothing black can do with it. And then let's see how it could go. So white takes, and black needs to find a pathway. Let's say he plays here, or maybe yeah, like this. He takes back, white cuts. And then black connects, white takes back. Black descends, takes back. White can play something like. Okay, now it's now I'm not sure what white can play here. So the main flaw of this of the move you played in the game is that it created a lot of additional core threats, right? So white got this core threat, this Atari, this was the core threat. Then we have this wait a second, this core threat, and we have like you see like already a lot. So basically wait, not this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 core threats, additional core threats that were not there before. But now black has it. Sorry, white has those, and he can win the core easily because white doesn't really have any big core threats beside those 5. If white didn't have those 5 core threats, yeah, the outcome of the call could be quite different. Also, much Aji lost round b6. Just a sec. b6, b6. Yeah, b6. Also, this descent also destroyed a lot of Ajis, but we showed it in previous variation with the corner where black could just squeeze white and get the corner in center. But wait, this deco continued. Okay, and now, yeah, now it's already over. Yeah. So up until if we look at the game like in general, what can we see? Let me go back a bit. So up until this was fine. Here, okay, still okay. So up until this point, the game was going well for black. It's still okay. So and now black started to give up his advantage. So this move was slow, and then this move was slow. Okay, this move was fine, good. So this, of course, is a minus. So far, it's good and good invasion, I would say. But black didn't manage. Black managed to penetrate white's territory, but he didn't manage to finish it properly. So white again got an advantage because he just protected his stones. in center, basically. Well, not in center, but with additional gains. And again, here, of course, black would have played a bit more active and a bit more efficient. Yeah. So, for instance, just even like this right now, even this move for black is good enough, even like this. By the way, we did not analyze the group on the upper side. The best bet for black would be to try to kill this group like this, probably. Let me see what could black do here. This and this and this. Okay, this and this. Yeah, looks like an alive shape. Maybe not. Funny. Stand. So the best white can get here is the best black can get here is Seki, like this. This is Seki, but Seki means life, so I don't think that's really an option for white. Sorry, for black, not for white. Mm. Yeah, so the group was probably alive. Yeah, so that's it. That's the game.
Thank
Um,
thank you for the review.
yeah,
I can
you're welcome. Sorry if I were too quick, probably
no,
with some variations.
no. It was all perfect. And it really showed my slow moves. Um, so I really, it's definitely helpful. Um, I'm just not sure. How should I address you? I actually don't know your name. I'm sorry,
It's Valerie.
Valerie.
It's
Thank you. So Valerie, thank you for reviewing. Do you teach? Because MrMTal says you're looking for students.
yeah, I'm open to new offers. I mean, let's put it this way. I did not teach previously, but I want to,
Hmm.
and as I mentioned, I'm open for offers. I actually also streamed today, so you can go check my Twitch channel. Today's stream as well, if you like it.
Yeah,
So
put your info in the chat and the links, and so that way, if people want to contact you for lessons, they can. Um, Sounds good. I'll check out. Did you say your YouTube? I'll check it out.
no, not YouTube, Twitch, my Twitch channel,
Oh,
which
okay.
is
Yeah, I'll check that out. So yeah, I just put the links in the chat there.
wait, yeah.
But yeah, I don't have too many more questions. There was definitely some. I took away a lot from this. Especially the Joseki on the bottom right is very useful for me. Um, I know that trying to disconnect two groups that are alive is dumb. I just didn't think White could live with one move, so it really shocked me. I guess when that happened. Um, but yeah, and that little code trick was cool too. I took a lot from this review. And if you don't mind, I'm gonna put this up on my own YouTube.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, of course, it's totally fine.
so I should ask you, what is your rank, so that way I can have it accurate on my YouTube.
I mean, my like online, I play on Fox, and I'm like 8 dan on Fox.
Fox 8
And
done.
my real life rank is 6 dan.
Awesome. And then just to help my YouTube title, what's the best way to what do you call it? Represent you. Do you like your username? Like, is that the name of your Twitch? Right. I'll take down all this info and
I actually do not care. I think my Twitch username is also fine.
okay. So you're gonna send us a link, right? So then we can find it.
Oh, yeah, just a sec. I just not that familiar with Twitch, and I'm not sure where I should find it. I would be grateful if you could help me. Link
Uh,
to my Twitch profile.
sure. Let me see if we can find it. I'm gonna make a new tab, and I'll even put it up on the screen so everybody sees it. And what is the name? Is it 47 Servant?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I assume this is it here from Ukraine.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Awesome.
my channel.
All right, so I'll grab this and we'll put it up in the chat. So everybody want to support. This was awesome that Valerie came to review. Like I said, I talk about it all the time, but anybody who helps me review helps everybody here. So super appreciate it. And it gives me a name I can use for YouTube, so that way I can link your Twitch to my YouTube channel. So that'll be really